Hey everyone, I thought today I would talk a little bit about how to help our children or how to help our children's therapists, right? So sometimes, unfortunately, our children get engaged if they've been coercively controlled with therapists who validate their experiences. Well, if they've been indoctrinated, that validation is actually counterproductive. It's harmful actually. So imagine that you have like a tween or a teen who's going to therapy and they're going to therapy with this really significant indoctrination against the protected parent, something like she's crazy or, she always yells, and so you know how this goes. It's like it becomes this black and white thinking, right? Like she always yells, maybe she yelled once, right? Or it can be she's never available to me, or she never says she's sorry. So that again, that black and white thinking, and what I would say is so important for therapists to understand is that black and white thinking. When a child idealizes one parent over another significantly, huge red flag, huge red flag. And so we have to really look at that closely and say, why are they idealizing one parent over another? Why is this occurring? And so if we can look at the foundational aspects of the relationship, if you're a clinician, you look at the foundational aspects of the relationship, you can say, oh, this is what's really going on here. There's one person exerting power and control over another person. Now, how do I help this kid? Because I can't like make them fracture an attachment to this harmful parent because that's not healthy. That's coercive control, right? So that's coercion, that's control. So what can I do? What can I do? Well, I can as as a protective parent, this is for you protective parents, to start teaching your children about boundaries, about what healthy versus unhealthy relationship dynamics are. And you do not have to mention the course of controller. You can mention situations at school for them, or situations with friends, or situations with athletics, or their music, their band, whatever they're doing, or with a relative. Maybe there's a relative, or maybe you have had a coworker who's been toxic and unhelpful, and you can share that with them. You can share with them that experience. So think of one. You've had one in your life. Think of one. Use that experience to highlight without, again, you have to be really intentional about this. It has to be creative. I say the CIA, creative, intentional, and authentically attuned to them. Figure out if the timing is right. If the timing isn't right, it's not going to work, right? Figure out that when you start having this conversation with them, if they're shutting down, stop it. Stop it. That's not the right time. It's not going to work. Be creative about it. Think about this. Come up with what you're going to say. And remember that our children, especially in the social media world, are not really listening as well. Their comprehension isn't as detailed as maybe ours was when we were younger because we weren't so influenced by social media. So, how do you create, even in these YouTube videos? How do I create shorter YouTube videos? How do I create really succinct conversations that you can grab some information and leave with it? Because if I go on and on, you're not going to listen to me. Same thing happens with our kids. So be creative, intentional, and authentically attuned to them and come up with a scenario, something that's happened in your personal life, something that happened with your sister, your mother, a teacher, something that happened to them on the playground, and highlight for them. Oh, wow, that does not sound healthy. That does not sound like something that someone who is kind would say to another human being. Wow, that sounds like boundary crossing to me. Hmm, I had that happen to me once. I don't care if it happened to you. Why do you have to talk about you all the time? Okay. All right. No worries. Yeah. So, like, again, nothing's personal. Just be ready in that position of personal power. When they try to shut you down, say, okay, no worries. Yeah. Like, in other words, it didn't impact you. It didn't hurt you. It didn't hurt your feelings. That's what they're looking for. That's a whole nother conversation about how these children are so set up. When they exert power and control over us, that is fulfilling the need that the coercive controller, the abusive parent wants for them. So we never fulfill that. We never make them think we're broken, that we're a victim, that we're powerless. We don't have to be powerful in a negative way. We simply have to be in a position of personal power. Very different. Yeah. Okay. No worries, honey. Could you change the radio station? Like we just diverge, right? Not in an unhealthy, unkind way, not in an angry way. We just diverge. So I hope that's helpful. Boundaries, healthy versus unhealthy relationship dynamics, we highlight them as much as possible. Therapists, this is what therapists need to be doing with our children when our children are idealizing one parent over the other. They have to work on figuring out why there's that idealization, because that's a huge red flag, and then begin to help the child unpack the toxicity. I hope that's helpful. Have a fantastic day.